Yo, big up, Wagwan, why pre, where you deal with, where you depend, up top, blessings, and we're here for another one again. But this time, we actually have a guest here with us, which is Jacob from the United Spurs of America. Jacob, what you say to me?
Hey, big up, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the invite. Good to be here. I think you share my pain, share the time zones that we're at, waking up at crazy times to watch our team play. But happy to
Mm-hmm.
be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, like how you mentioned that, what's the worst time you ever had to wake up for a Spurs game? I'm sure it's worse than mine because you're on the West Coast, right?
I am 1 hour ahead of the West Coast, so
Mm.
technically the earliest I've woken up. I think when we kick off at 5:30. I usually will roll over at 5:15 and just open the computer and turn it
Yeah.
on, put an earbud in so I can listen and try to start waking up. Those are tough.
I've
Um,
had a 6 a.m. before, like a 6 a.m. kickoff, and I'd be up at like 5 because I'm a guy who drinks tea every day. I got to make sure I have my tea in me at least. And I had to just have all my stuff set up for a
what
6
kind
a.m.
of tea do you
kickoff.
drink?
Mainly black tea. I also have a lot of like mint stuff, like peppermint,
Oh, okay.
maybe some ginger, stuff like that. Yeah,
Ginger's
I
good for the
experiment a
tummy.
lot with my tea. My wife can tell you for sure. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about Spurs real quick because there's been a lot of news around recently about the situation at your club. I know you guys just hired Ange Postecoglou, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that the reception I see from him is a bit mixed with your fan base, but there is a bit of optimism there because he's an up and coming manager. So um,
Yeah. For me,
based on the
there's a
season
lot
you
of
guys had,
optimism.
there can only really be up from the last season, right?
That's the thing is when we're at a low, I guess we could get worse and end up kind of where Chelsea was this season. We could do
Right,
that.
right.
So it's very possible that we could take steps back. But for me personally, appointing Ange Postecoglou, giving him a 4-year deal, to me, it signifies something different than what I've seen with Jose Mourinho, Nuno, Conte. They were on like 2-year deals, 18-month deals. These are deals that tells you how long is this guy here for? Is he really invested in what we're doing here? Ainge Postacoglu, get him on a 4-year deal. And to me, at every corner, he has continued to impress me with his mindset. Now, again, when you look at his reputation or his resume, you may say, oh, well, he's missing the big time experience, right? I think that's his
Mhm.
main criticism, right? Oh, yeah, he did win the treble. Might I add, he did win a treble last season as
Yeah,
well. Y'all weren't the only ones, but it is the Scottish League. So let's call
yeah.
a spade for a spade. I never watched the Scottish League. I've watched one game of Ange Postecoglou, and that was the final of the Scottish Cup that he won. I think they won 3-1 that day. But I only watched because we were heavily linked with him
Link
and
to him.
rumored. So obviously, like that's why I tuned in. So I'm not going to sit here and claim that I know Ainge Postacoglu and I know this and that. Now, granted, I have read up on him. I have obviously done my research now because he's been our manager. But as a fan, when I look at it, like I need something. A lot of Spurs fans last season were getting broken with their club. It didn't look like the club that they fell in love with. And I say the same thing for me. Granted, I wasn't born in the UK. It wasn't like a part of my family's heritage to support Tottenham Hotspur. It was a choice that I made as an American. But for me, we got so far away from who we were and what we were trying to do before. Whereas
Hmm.
it was papering over cracks. If you put a piece of paper on the white wall and you paint white over it, you might not know it's just a piece of paper.
Right.
But the structure of the house doesn't get any better for that. So my point being is we rode the potch until the potch ran out of the magic, and that's going to happen when you don't support a manager and fully back him and bring in players that he wants. I mean, we went 2 3 windows, I think it was, without signing a single player. And you can't do that if you're trying to continue to get back to where you were, i.e.,
Right.
the Champions League final that we lost. So to me, we've continually been going backwards and backwards and backwards. And now it feels like, all right, now we're going to stop. We're going to stand here and try to walk forward. And is something that excites me. I'm going to go back to Ange's mindset a little bit. he with James Madison. Obviously, James Madison was linked with Newcastle. He's linked with us, but he said the thing that stuck with him about Ainge Postecoglou is when Ainge said to him that whether you join us or not, you're going to see a different Spurs team next season. And to me, that really resonated with me because I need to see a different Tottenham Hotspur
Right.
team
Yeah.
than I'm used to as of late. So his mindset is very welcoming. He's Australian, and I have a few Australian friends that I know through the tube, and they all say the same thing that Australians, if you're born in Australia and you're coming up through the ranks, they're naturally going to try and keep you humble and like keep,
Mm,
if you're having successes, they're going to talk about all your failures because they don't want you to get a big head and think
right.
that you're Mr. Hot Shit. So, I
And that's
appreciate
that's
his.
good.
He's got that Australian humbleness, but he's also got that like slight arrogance of like I know who I am and what I
Yeah.
can do and bring. And his first interview dropped today. Today was his first official day at Tottenham Hotspur. So a lot of things to look forward to, man. I'm really excited for him. I know some of the fan base was it appeared as though that we were pretty split. I do want to say, when we were linked with Postacoglu, there was hundreds, if not thousands, of Celtic fans that were creating fake profiles on Twitter and saying no to Ainge, hashtag no to Ainge, because they
Yeah,
wanted
because
him
they
to
love him.
stay.
They love him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were clawing at anything that they grabbing at anything they could do to. All right, so let's all just make fake accounts. We'll keep Ainge here. We'll act like we're Spurs fans. So it was funny. I'm glad it didn't work, but this is a guy again. The last little point I want to make about Ainge is anywhere this guy has gone, the people he's worked with, the fans that have watched him, have nothing but good things to say about him. The only people who have
Mm,
bad things to say are journos on TV or Johnny armchairs who are like
yeah.
us, right? They just share their opinions online or they tweet stuff or they text their friends. And to me,
And some
I
of them
think
only
you'd be
say stuff
surprised.
just to go against the grain as well, just to have that
Exactly.
different
Oh,
opinion.
I'm supposed to love this guy. No, I hate him. So yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
bit of all that, I think.
Okay. Well, that's quite interesting, and I heard you touch on is confidence, which I always say, not even just for a manager, it's also good for a player to have that bit of confidence, or what I like to call a positive ego, because ego isn't all bad really. It's just how you apply it. But
Absolutely.
the funny
Look
thing
at
is,
Zlatan.
the funny thing is, I remember when I was younger, I was watching a game. This is one of my earliest memories of watching football, and it was Spurs that was playing. And I was like, that jersey looks kind of nice. But I wasn't about to pick a team just because of the color of the jersey, and it was white. Up to this day, I don't like wearing white because my parents always told me I'm gonna be the one to clean it. So I just stayed away from that. But hey, if I was a different kid, maybe I would be.
I'll tell you
This
what,
might be
I agree
clinical, the
with you
Spurs
about
fan.
the hey, in a different universe you are. I believe in parallel universes. There's different timelines running at the same time. In a different world,
Yeah.
you
In
chose
none of
Tottenham
those, I'm a
Hotspur.
United fan, though. Just to get that clear. In none of those, I am a United fan.
See, there's not enough parallel universes for that, but
Yeah.
I do. The last point you were talking about is just slipping me now because now my mind I'm a little bit like my mind works like a squirrel sometimes like
Mm.
there's a bunch of trees and branches and the squirrel doesn't know what tree or branch it's on necessarily but it can go from everywhere so I
No, no.
apologize.
Trust me, I'm like that too. Trust me.
But I was gonna say about Lily. I just remembered now. Lily White. So, for me, the same thing. When I first was watching Spurs, I was like, "Ooh, that white jersey. I don't like white jerseys, but that white jersey looks nice. Like, it looks clean." I seen it, and I was like, "That looks like something I would wear." And I don't like wearing white. I'm a little bit of a bigger fellow, and white
Mm.
is very unforgiving to large folk like
Yeah,
me.
I hear you.
Black is more slimming. Vertical stripes help out the big boys. So the lily white doesn't look good on me, but I'll tell you what, when I see some of my favorite players wearing it, it
Mm.
convinces me to buy the damn kit because like when we got Basuma, I don't even like the number 38. When I heard he was getting the number 38, I was very upset. But as soon as I seen him in that lily white kit wearing 38 Basuma, I was like, nah, I'm buying that kit. I have to. And it's things like that. Who cares if I don't look good? I'm not wearing it to look good. I just like
Yeah, it's just the pride.
Yeah, the logo resonated with me. The fact that now it's in hindsight, it's a little funny that I think about it, but I was like, they're not like the most known team or successful team. They're not the most, you know what I mean? I didn't because at
Mm,
the time when I was becoming a fan of world football, not just like my isolated that I watch, but when I started really like, okay, I want a Premier League club because that's the best league in the world, right?
right.
I want a club to follow, and I don't want to just blindly jump into a club. So I'm watching the league. I'm watching different stuff. Obviously, at the time, City was just tearing shit up. I was like, obviously, I can't go for City.
Right.
Can't go for Liverpool. They're doing very good. And I was like, I'm not going to go for United because I actually know of that. I know of United. I know of Chelsea. I'm not going to go for either one of them. And Arsenal, I remember thinking it was funny. Like, why would you have a fucking can? Sorry for cursing. Why would you have a cannon as your logo? I thought it was so dumb. And lo and behold, they actually wound up being like the arch rivals of the team I ended up choosing.
Mm.
So it works. Plus, I had two friends. One was Liverpool, one was Tottenham, and they were both trying to convince me. Like one's like, we got Mohamed
Wait.
Salah,
Hold
we
on, hold
got
on. Before you go too deep into that, I do really soon want to have a show where I get guys on and ask like I
their
want to hear your
why.
whole story
Oh,
from
okay.
start
I'll
of
save that
how you
then.
became a football fan. And yeah,
Yeah,
I'd love to have you on for that. But really
yeah. I'll
quickly
save
on
that.
that,
I'll put that in
just
my
a
pocket.
small
I'll save
piece of
it.
mine is that my older brother is a United fan, and he was trying to do the same thing, trying to get me to become a United fan. And it was a
Mm,
derby game that we were watching, and at this time, City was still in our trophy drought for 30 something years. So anyone who calls me a glory hunter, clearly you're just saying stuff because you assume I just started watching City a couple years ago,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that doesn't bother me. But yeah, it was a similar thing to me where it's like I don't want to go for a team that's directly at the top and just blowing everything out of the water. I want to see a
Yeah.
journey from the ground all the way up to glory, and I can see, you know what, I experienced that. And listening to older City fans talk about being in Division Two, I get kind of jealous. Like I wish I could see that coming on to winning a treble. Like just imagine telling that story. That would be crazy.
No,
But
the switch up from what Man City was to what they are now. I mean, they I think I like the term that some American he wasn't an American broadcaster, but it was on the American broadcast. He said something. They've gone from the noisy neighbors to the or to the competent brothers or something like that. There was
mm,
something you know, the British people, their damn
yeah,
accents, so sometimes they can put things so smoothly, like from the noisy neighbors to the something
yeah,
something
it's
brothers,
really poetic. Yeah, I hear
like
you,
the actual legit rivals. They're like chasing United's history at this point. If y'all do another 10 years of what you're doing now, what are we talking about here? Who's big? Who's the bigger club in Manchester? No one can say y'all ain't won the
bro.
Champions League. That's the last thing that people had on you
I'm
was
just
you
hoping
ain't
Pep
won the
stays.
Champions League. But
10 more years of Pep.
yeah, and he said he'll stay forever, right? Or he's gonna see his
he's
contract
he's
out.
gonna stay. The thing is, people always do this thing when his contract's about to run out. They're like, his contract's 2025, so he's gonna leave in 2025, and then he signs another extension. They've been doing that for the past three extensions, so I'm not really worried about, oh, Pep is gonna leave us at this specific date. He's gonna stay until it's no longer fun for him,
Hmm.
in which right now he has all the resources he needs. He still feels at home in Manchester. I think I heard that his family doesn't like it in Manchester, but they live back in Barcelona and he's staying here and he goes to visit them ever so often. They come into Manchester and do the same. So he's making it work for him so that he can, give to us as much as he feels he should. And I love
Okay.
that. But enough on us a little bit. I do wanna hear a little bit of your guys' situation because I've been hearing a lot of news recently about Harry Kane and is he gonna leave Spurs? I know that he has 12 months remaining on his current deal, and a couple years ago he was linked to Manchester City to leave, and
Mm-hmm.
then a couple months ago he was linked to United, all of that stuff. But I know for you, you might have your biases because I assume you love Kane for what he's been for your club. And when he leaves, he will leave as a legend. But I do want to know your opinion on a hypothetical move away from North London for him.
For me, the Harry Kane thing is getting to a point where it's not. just a story. It's not just links. It's a distraction for the entire club, for the fan base. And I want to bring something out that, like, think about this. Heung-Min Son, he's been here for a long time. He's one of the leaders at Tottenham Hotspur. As soon as he's linked with Saudi Arabia that they want to bid for him, less than 24 hours later, he comes out and says, "No, I want to stay at Tottenham. It's not. I don't care
Mm,
about money. I'm here to play, and I want to. I got things to accomplish with Spurs." Music to my ears. That is what I want
yeah.
to hear from my veterans, my leaders, the mentality monsters. That's what I want to hear. Harry Kane, he's been linked with Real Madrid. He's been linked with Bayern United. He's
Right.
been linked all over the place. What has he said? Nothing. He goes to America and says, "I may become an NFL kicker." He ain't said nothing to reassure any fan that we should believe that he's going to be here in the future. The thing is, whether he leaves this summer, next summer for a free, or we sign him on a 1 year deal and he leaves like the summer after that, like, I'm gonna root for him as long as he's a Tottenham Hotspur player. But as soon as he's not, I no longer care. I don't. If he goes to
Mm,
Chelsea, a lot of fans are saying that it's like worse than what Sol Campbell did. It's a bigger Judas move,
mm,
and to me, I just don't know that I feel that way because he's really done everything that he could here. Right? He's gone to a Champions League final, lost it. He's gone to a Carabao Cup final, he lost it. Gone to FA Cup final, I think with Pod lost it. And that's the thing is, at some point, like, it just ain't working. And I don't know if it's him, I don't know if it's Spurs, but at this current moment, like, something's got to change for both parties in order for a different
mm,
result. I feel
yeah.
like Bayern offering 70, 70 is not enough for me to say, yeah, get rid of 30 Premier League goals like he did last season. Let's sell 30 Premier League goals for 70. That's absurd.
It's
That's
euros
actual,
as well. Like no,
that's an
that's
insult.
yeah.
If 100 mil just to even get me to open the door to let you in is how I feel.
You know what's funny? I said to someone that Bayern Munich are kind of like the Arsenal of Germany, because when they bid, they always that first bid is always so low, and it's kind of like they just want to make by their third bid you feel a bit pressured to accept it because it's by the third one it's going to be a fairly decent bid, and they would have
Mm-hmm.
already agreed personal terms, and hopefully, the player is going to be on the inside pushing away for a move. So
But let's also look at a few facts here. Harry Kane's building a new house in London as we speak. He has a fourth child on the way. There's a lot of factors that say he that would point to he's not going to go to Germany, he's not going to go to Spain. But to me, Real Madrid is that big of a club. When they come knocking, you don't not answer that door. That is a
right,
door that you.
unless you're Holland.
I guess so. I mean, did he? I think it was. But they were in for they were in for Mbappe at the time, weren't they?
Actually, the Mbappe deal had already fallen through, and then all the news was that they were pushing towards Haaland. Actually, there was a lot of news saying he had agreed to go to Madrid, but on the City
Oh,
end, news are still coming out that it's not done. Just stay patient, and that's why all the City collective were just saying it's all paper talk from their end. And when you look back at it, they do the same thing with a lot of other players who they want to get because the narrative is that usually after a terrible result or a terrible season, they have all these hyperlinks to one player. It was Mbappe the season before, and they didn't end up getting him, even though it was done deal and all that stuff. And it's the same thing for City, for Haaland the year after that. Who knows? Maybe it's Mbappe again this year to see what's happening with his situation. But
it's
I
funny.
don't
As
look
soon
into
as
it too much.
Mbappe said he's not gonna renew his contract at PSG, as soon as that happened, there was never another Real Madrid Kane link. It was never that talk
Exactly.
got stopped as soon as that domino fell. And that's the thing is, this market's very weird. Like, does he wait a year, go for free? Do the clubs that actually want to put a bid in for him? Which one says I need him this year as opposed to next year? You know what I mean? Because
Right. And
if
that's
it's that,
actually a perfect segue into my next question, which is like, personally, in my opinion, if he does sign another deal at Spurs, even if it's a year's deal or not, I don't think that's a smart decision. I think if he stays at Spurs this season, he has to be leaving on a free. And from your guys' perspective, again,
He
in my
cannot leave
opinion,
on a free. There's too
exactly,
much
you
value in them
need to
boots.
sell it. It's similar to the Mbappe situation at PSG because he said he's not signing another deal. PSG said you have to leave this summer then, because it's either you sign now or you're leaving this summer. Because we're not
Yeah,
leaving you a player that can worth this much. Leaving on a free is just terrible, terrible business.
that's.
It's the
I
same for
mean,
for Kane.
the board and the chair, Daniel Levy, he's gambling at this moment right now, and with the Harry Kane thing, because let's look at it. When he was trying to force that move to City, only one who stopped that was Daniel Levy.
Right.
125, not
Apparently he
enough.
bid 150. Fabrizio Romano made a post after the rumors had stopped. It was like the final thing. He said Manchester City's final bid was 150 million pounds, and I was like, and Levy denied that. I don't want us to go in for 200 and 180 just to get him. I think 150 would have everyone would have been looking at that like you really broke the bank to get Kane, and maybe we could justify it
That's
by
true,
the
but you also
quality of
spent a
player
hundred
he is
on you spent 100 on
on
Grealish.
Grealish, and it would have
There's
been
been
in
a
the same
hundred on
summer. That's the next
Nunez.
thing. So we'd have spent 250 million pounds for two players in one summer. That is
That would have
crazy.
been absurd
Yeah,
business for
exactly.
y'all. But
That's exactly what people have us as, which is why I didn't want us to do it.
yeah, I mean that's a good point. But also, I look around at the league. The prices that players are going. How much of Anthony from Ajax? 100 mil.
90 mil. Yep.
Anyone you're buying from Benfica? 100 mil just to
Yep.
talk to Benfica. You know what I mean?
Brighton,
the price.
same thing. Declan
Brighton,
Rice
yeah,
is going
Brian,
for
they'll buy
100
him for
mil.
10, 15, sell him for 100 or 80. They did it with
Hmm.
Cucurella. They did it with Caicedo. We bought Basuma, luckily, for 35 on the cheapies. But when I look around, I mean, Spurs bought Richarlison for 60. That's not a $60 million striker.
Right.
40 million is overpaying for Richarlison, and we spent 60.
And
And
100 mil is overpaying for Grealish, but if you do look at it, it's the price you're
I
paying
mean,
to
at this
get him
point,
out
you're
of the
looking
club
at
and
it.
what he's worth to them. It's the same thing with Rice as well. So for some of the deals, you kind of just have to allow it a little bit. Like he might not be this much as a player package, but what he's worth to his current team is what you're gonna have to pay to get him out of there.
Yeah, and exactly that with Kane. You got to
Hmm.
pay what he's worth to us right now. 70 mil, pounds, quid, whatever the hell currency, doesn't matter. 70 of it is 70 million of it's not enough for Harry Kane. That's an insult.
Right.
For me, it's 100 to top. My personal opinion is I would sell him. I'm looking at a new
This
regime,
summer.
a new. It's time to turn a page at Tottenham. I mentioned it on one of my streams, and I had everyone. What are you talking about? What are you getting rid of Kane? You know, who are you? What? And it's fine. It's cool. I just see it as like, yeah, he may give us another 25 to 28 Premier League goals next season, but if we got, say, Ivan Tony on the last part, and we just ran with Richarlison at the striker until Tony was unbanned, that might that between them they might be able to get us 20, 25 Premier League goals. Share that with Son. If Sonny gets,
Mm.
7 more, he had 10. Let's remember he finished with 10 goals, but if he could get 15 to 16 goals, Kulusevski, if he could get anywhere close to 10 goals, he should. I mean, we spent 35 mil on him, so he damn
Mm.
should. But
Son got 10 in the Premier League or in all comps?
Premier League,
Oh wow, I didn't
he
even notice
scored
that.
he scored like 6 in the last 7 matches.
Okay, okay.
So he ended the season good. The thing is, he was playing with a hernia for that entire first part of the season. He didn't have a
Mm,
surgery on it till the end of till the season was over. So because he didn't want to have he got a hernia and he didn't want to have surgery and then miss the World
miss a.
Cup.
Okay, I
So
hear
he
you.
just but I don't know why. It's the dumbest decision ever. Some people say, "Oh, it's Daniel Levy milking the cow until there's nothing left." Like, no, I don't care if he's got a hernia. Play him. I don't think it's like that. He's marketably our biggest asset in the world because there's 30 million Korea fans right now. Just whatever
Yeah,
he does, they're aware of. You know what I mean? 30 million.
and
That's a
I
lot
think
of jerseys every year.
that's a similar situation to Calvin Phillips. I know their importance to the team isn't nowhere near on the same level, But Calvin Phillips had a shoulder issue, and I think he also had a hamstring injury the summer before. But that had pretty much healed, and it was a reoccurring shoulder issue he had for a couple of years. He got injured in a friendly we played against Barcelona in August, and then he was out for maybe a month or so. He went and did surgery. He didn't get to play any at all until the World Cup. Then he went away for the World Cup, and by the time he came back and was fit to play, we're already stuck in a rut, and we need to, build momentum and start gaining points to catch up to Arsenal. So I'm trying to explain to our fans that that's the real reason why we didn't see so much of him this year. It's not just because Pep doesn't rate him, because if Pep didn't rate him, he wouldn't
Y'all
have
wouldn't
gone
have
for him in
bought
the first
him.
place.
Y'all
Exactly.
wouldn't have I
And
mean, that's Leeds' best player. He
I
was
don't I don't
him and
want us to
Rafinha were
just
Leeds' best player
I don't
before
want us to
y'all.
just get rid of him just on the back of one bad season where I personally don't feel like he even had an opportunity to fail. Because at that point, when we're struggling for good results and trying to gain ground on Arsenal, we're not gonna say, okay, Rodri, you take a rest, and we're just gonna play Phillips, who hasn't played a minute all season, which isn't really his fault because he had to do a surgery just to get him some minutes in. We have to keep playing our best players and keep building that momentum so we can go on and start doing something. And that's what we did. So by the time he ended up being able to come in for games, he only managed to play 12 Premier League games. So I
Yeah.
next season is when I'm looking at him and saying, "What are you doing for me now?" Because if it doesn't work out next season, then I'm ready to cut ties with him. Because I need to see that you're serious and you need to be able to contribute for us. As much as I might like you as a player, as a person, I need a solid backup for Roger. He's one of our best, and we can't afford to play him every single game.
Mm-hmm. No,
But
I agree with you there.
back to the Kane thing. Say he does leave. Say he goes to Bayern for 100 mil, right? Pounds. How is that money reinvested? Do you spend majority of that on another striker? Do you guys say get a Ivan Tony for 50 mil and then the rest goes around the rest of the team, or and do you even trust Levy to reinvest that money properly?
The last question there, probably not to invest it properly, but I hope that there's someone there at the club right now that's Levy's like, I never listened to you, but now I am because we're doing things a little differently at the start
Yeah.
of this window. We weren't getting David Raya. We were struggling. We agreed with David Raya on personal terms, but we couldn't get the deal over the line with the club. They wanted more than we were willing to pay. We
Hmm.
acted quickly and got our second option in Vicario. So I'm happy with that. James Madison, I thought that deal was going to go on all July. It was going to be the Madison month, is what I
Hmm.
was expecting for July.
Great
Just
signing, by the way.
40 mil. And then think about we sent Winks the other way for 10. So really,
Hmm.
we spent 30 on James Madison and got a loser off of our books. So honestly, who am I giving credit for that? I got to give credit to, I guess, Levy if he's the ones making the decisions right now. Because right now, what we just done, I'm not saying it forgives him for the 22 years of the past, but
Right.
I'm saying for the right now, this is all we can. I can scream Levy out, get the board out all I want, but the reality of the beast is they ain't selling that club when it's making a millions and millions of dollars profit every year, every quarter. They're just millions and millions. You know what I mean? Um,
I'm not
they,
sure what that was for, but I just saw it.
I love the profile picture. To me, I lost my train of thought there. Erratic kid threw me off. What was I?
Oh, my bad. I
No,
think
that's all good.
you were saying something about it was about the reinvestment on the Kane money go back into the rest of the team.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know exactly where I was leaving off, but if it was 100, 110, 120, whatever the final number was, if we were to sell, I would expect us to then go and drop a cheap option on a replacement, and then part of me also feels like that's what we bought Richarlison for was the eventual replacement of Kane because I don't think Richarlison's very good on the left wing. I don't think he's very good on the right wing. I think he's only good in the middle, and it's a very limited player in my
Yeah.
opinion. Which made me wonder why we even bought him last season because it was just like where's he going to play, and when he did play where he played, he didn't do well, and so it just didn't make sense to me. But there's something Spurs fans always say about Kane is whenever he does go, like there is going to be a day when Kane kicks his last ball for Tottenham Hotspur, and when that day comes, we're going to need two players to be able to step up and do what he did for us. And I've said this the other day that I posed the question: could James Madison be the first step of those two players that we need to replace him? Because if James Madison can contribute to like 30 goal and assists
Which he
this
probably that's
season,
realistic because we've
that's
seen what
his
he's done with
average
the
for the
Leicester
past three
team.
seasons with Leicester, with an injured Jamie Vardy, Ian Nacho. I mean, I
Yeah,
know Spurs defense makes Ian Nacho look fucking world class because that's what we do. But in regards to it's just his game is going to go up to a new level. I mean, think about it. I know he's been in the league a long time. We've been talking about James Madison for a long time, but he's only 26. And if you think about it
yeah.
from a physical standpoint, that's when you're entering your physical prime is 26. You're done growing, your body's done, and you're a professional athlete. If you maintain yourself, you can then take yourself to another level at this juncture in your physical career. I mean, look at any sport, look at any athlete. You look at LeBron pre 25 as opposed to after 25, it's a different beast. And it goes true with all sports, I think. So for me, seeing that bit of business, I wonder if that could be the first step of maybe this is one player who can be a part of that necessity to replace Kane.
Right.
Because at some point, man, we can't keep relying on the same guy to bail us out. He can't get us over the line when we need him most. Look at all the finals. He played in them. Where was he? Was he banging all these ridiculous goals those days? No, he wasn't. And then, yes, it is a team sport. It's not just him, but he's supposed to be our leader. He's supposed to be our talisman. He's our everything. Surely he could have got us over the line one of those games. We didn't lose by much, and all of them weren't getting spanked out the park. We lost by an
Even this
armpit to
season,
Liverpool. You know
even
what I
this
mean?
season, like who was it? Sheffield United who knocked you guys out the FA Cup.
Sheffield
That
knocked us out the FA Cup. Nottingham Forest knocked us out the
can't
Carabao
remember that.
Cup.
And even in the Champions League, that AC Milan, I watched that game regrettably because I that was one of the most boring
Did you
games
stay
I've ever
awake?
seen.
Yeah. Did you stay
Like
awake?
I was
Oh
at
man,
work, so I was more interested in doing my job than actually watching
that's
what was
tough.
going
That's
on. And
tough. Yeah,
it
it was
was,
not a good day. It was not a good
I
one.
think, the only time I saw Kane properly take a good attempt. It wasn't even a shot; it was a header, and this was in added time. It almost went in. I'll give him that, but the whole performance, not even just him, the entire Spurs team, they just
They
looked
look like
like
they
they
didn't
couldn't get up for
care.
the opportunity. It's I don't know, man. And it was the same
Yeah.
thing with Milan. They couldn't get up for it either. So it was just a dead game.
Yeah, it was two teams like you want to win it, here you go. You want to win it, and we were stubbornly the most no, we don't want to win it people that day. So,
And it was
um,
1-0 off the first leg, if I remember correctly. And on the
yep,
second leg, there was nothing going forward from Spurs. I understand AC Milan because they're winning, so they can just afford to sit back. But it's like Spurs thought they were 1-0 up, so they didn't want to give anything up and were just reluctantly going
I
forward.
think they were afraid. Like the whole, I'm so ready to just stop, not think about what happened last season because I loved Antonio Conte, but Antonio Conte and Spurs and the players we have here and all that just doesn't work together. You know,
Yeah,
like um like I love ketchup and I love lasagna, but you don't put ketchup on lasagna.
yeah, it
You know what
just
I'm
doesn't work.
saying?
Yeah,
It just doesn't work. They're two good things, but like maybe
separately.
it's like in a different time in a different universe, baby, we could have been perfect together, but it's just like he was stubborn. He's like, these are the players I want, and if we can't get them, then y'all figure it out. And it's like, okay, the club then gets Longley, Jed Spence, these players. It's like, yeah, we had a busy window, but like if I'm running in place, I didn't go very far, did I?
Right.
And he came out later saying half of these people weren't even people he wanted. These were clubs. The club informed him that they were signing these players, and so it's just I don't know. Maybe he's the
And
martyr that Spurs needed to change the way that we operate our first team football as from a business standpoint.
well,
That's all
the
I can
first
hope
thing
for.
I do want to say about Conte, big up yourself because that 1-1 draw against Liverpool helped us so much in that title race last year. because that was they were that I think that was the second to last game for them before the end of the season or the third, and they were ahead of us to where we couldn't reach them even if we won all our games. But because they drew to you guys, we got 1 point ahead of them again, and we could then go on and win the league by 1 point. So
You're
thanks for
welcome.
that.
You
Thank you.
still
And
can't score at
Emerson
Tottenham
Royale,
Hotspur
man,
Stadium,
that's the
but
next thing I was gonna say. Like, it's so confusing watching those type of games against Sheffield and against AC Milan, and see how lethargic the team looks, and then you guys play against us anywhere, whether home or away, and you guys want to be the best version of yourself. And a part of the reason, let me just get this out right now. I hate Spurs so much, and the main reason for that is that Champions League 4-3 game. I genuinely thought that was our year, and you guys stopped a
uh,
quadruple. I
yeah.
remember it was, I think, Lorente. I'm dying on the hill that I think that goal came off his hand, but it went to VAR. I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is getting chalked off. It's nothing, and it got given. I was so shocked. The offside goal at the end, that was deservedly offside. But I'm looking back at that one goal, and I'm like, these are the fine margins that just got us kicked out of the Champions League. I It's similar.
Bye.
It's similar to Chelsea, because I hate their guts too after the final. But I mean, it is what it is, and I look at these teams that I personally dislike, like United, like Chelsea, like Spurs, and I'm like, you know what? I'm fine, because now I'm looking forward to these games every season because I want to pay you back every single time we play you guys. So I'm up for it.
So what's up with never scoring at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Is it a curse? Is it? I have a theory that Pep cursed himself when he called us the Harry Kane team. Ever since then, y'all ain't scored at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm just saying.
I don't know, man. That game last season, it was 1-0. It just seemed destined to happen because there was nothing that told me we were going to lose that game 1-0. We were in bad form generally at that point in time, but the game before that was also against you guys. You were up 2 goals. Personally, I don't think we were playing that bad. It seemed like 2 opportunistic goals, especially the last one that fell on Royale's head, and he just happened to be in that perfect spot for it. I can't look at that and say, "Oh, DS, that's your fault because you should have been standing in that exact position right there." So I'm looking at that and I'm like, you know what? We're not out of this game because it's just a few tweaks we have to make, and then we can make something happen. We come back and we win 4-2. The game right after that, we showed absolutely nothing at all to say, yeah, we want to win at Spurs today. And I think it's kind of like the Champions League where it's just that
Y'all,
mental
y'all,
block where we're
you
just
laid
fighting
down for
against
the
ourselves,
moment,
man.
man. It was Harry Kane's day. He was meant to break the record versus the
Yeah,
eventual treble winners.
that's
It
the
was
next
it was
thing.
Harry Kane's event. Y'all were just spectators. I think that's all that was. I don't know, maybe a little gentleman's agreement behind closed doors. I don't know. I doubt it,
Wow.
but I love it. Long may it rain because it is the one little sliver of like cojones as a Spurs fan. I can be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all might have won a treble, but y'all ain't scored versus
Yeah,
us at home. Come on, like
never
y'all
actually.
may do everything in the world, but still, yeah, I ain't seen a single city goal at Tottenham Hotspur
Not even
Stadium.
a win. Not only have we not won, but not a single goal is so crazy to me. But back to the Harry Kane thing. You spoke about foundations earlier, and if if you're looking at the team from the outside looking in, it kind of does look like Harry Kane is the foundation of the team and everything is built around him. So if you remove a player that pivotal to the team, where does the Spurs project lie?
The thing is the system we're gonna play is not. The system we're gonna play has never had a Harry Kane. So what we're looking at doing, if he stays or if he goes, it's not going to be a. We have a creative midfielder. If you remember how we sort of played when we had Christian Eriksen, we didn't see
Yeah,
the link up play from Harry Kane. We weren't all talking about Harry Kane is Kevin De Bruyne plus Harry Kane. You know what I
yeah.
mean? We were talking about he's just a phenomenal striker. I think when his role becomes more reduced and more Erling Holland and just stay up
Hmm.
there, lurk around, create problems for the center backs, make them press on you, and open up lanes for the other two, and let's see what we could create. I think that what we're going to see is not so reliant on Harry Kane. Will be the answer to that question because this system again, he's had Ange Postecoglou's had okay strikers, but no, he's never had a Harry Kane. So he's
Right.
not built his system around a Harry Kane like what you do when you come here and you're like, okay, let me see what we got here. Harry Kane's son and who is kind of what it's always been. So to come in here, yeah, then you build your game plan around Harry Kane. But I think Ange Postecoglou has worked with who, with who's that guy? What's his name?
Yeah. Right.
You
Right.
know, oh, what's the name? Yeah, when you work with all that, then you get
A world class
even
striker.
world class strikers, world class winger, and some top talent. You know, some good talent in other positions, and I just think that the we might be pleasantly surprised as Spurs fans and rival fans too. Be warned, I think people might be surprised at the Tottenham Hotspur you see because it's not going to like he said to James Madison. He literally said to James Madison, "You're not going to see the same team," and that's all that we could ask for as a Spurs fan. I do not want to see that team that I saw last season because I'm telling you, when we got to wake up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m.,
Oh
7
my
a.m.,
God. Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, I'm gonna wake up to watch a 0-0 draw or a 1-1 draw or us lose 5-1 to Newcastle. Like I wake up for these things and then I get abused. And after a while, you want to stop waking up for those things. So it's nice to feel like, okay, there's a point I'm gonna be waking up for this. I'm excited to wake up for this.
Yeah. No, I 100% hear that. Definitely do. But on that, before we move on, the whole culture of Spurs in the past couple of years involves having a talisman there, right? And I know Ange might be stepping away from that a little bit, but you can have those transition pains, I like to call them,
Mm-hmm.
where the team isn't exactly flourishing because from the dynamic shift in the style of play. So I was thinking, you might have a situation where you do need a player like Harry Kane to still offer the goals that he does in the earlier part until the full system steps in. If he does leave, who do you think would be the most likely in the current squad to step up and be that guy? Or do you think that might be someone from the market coming in and doing that job for you guys?
Um, Specifically, I think it's gonna be a shared thing. I think like I'm trying to think of the best way to answer that because I feel like there's a lot that's unknown at this juncture, and I
Right.
we have a game in Perth in 17 days, and I cannot wait for that day because then I get to. I mean, hopefully they got some training sessions and stuff that they're going to publish and let folks like me see, because I want to know, I want to see, I want to hear. I mean, that's what I loved when Jose came is we had that Prime documentary. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna get to see it all. I mean,
Right.
granted, very heavily edited, but I was super excited about it, and it's just it feels like that. Not because with Jose, I was like, oh, we're getting a trophy now. It's on. This guy never not wins trophies. That's all he
Yeah.
does is he can't stop when he's like a man with sweet blood around the mosquitoes. He just can't stop getting bit by him. And for me, I was just
Yeah.
like, surely, and he got us to a final, and we sack him 5 days before
Yeah.
the
That
final
was
point. Ryan
I was
Mason.
so glad. I was so happy that happened. I was a bit confident, of course, because it's Pep Guardiola. It's a final. It's our competition. On top of that, the Carabao Cup. But it's Jose Mourinho at the same time. It's kind of like Real Madrid and how people always say you have to respect heritage. This is Jose Mourinho, and it's a one-off final. Anything can happen, and the moment you start thinking this is in the bag, it's already done. That's the moment you could just lose it all.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you guys sacked him just before then, I don't care what the fallout was beforehand. He did all the groundwork getting the team to the final. He should have at least been able to see it out, but
Yeah,
I wasn't
but I
complaining.
have a theory that it has more to do. It has to do with the fact that he wanted to play a weaker lineup versus Southampton. So the main caveat of players were
Fresh
healthy
and
and
rested.
fresh and ready for ready for the final. But also, if you remember, this is right around when the Super League shit happened. And who did we throw out in front of the cameras? It would have had to been Jose answering for Tottenham playing a part in the Super League being formed. Instead,
Mm.
oh, Ryan Mason. They'll just throw young old Ryan Mason in front of the camera. To me, it was an example of our club's cowardice because instead of I don't know, maybe Jose threw a fit. Maybe he got wind of the news. I mean, obviously he's in on more conversations about stuff like
Right.
that than the fans and the media. So I have a theory. I do occasionally put my tinfoil hat on and I run with a theory, and I do have a little
Yeah.
bit of a theory that yes, it was some of I want to play my lineup. You don't tell me how to play my lineup. I'm fucking Jose Mourinho, the serial winner, the special one. Respect. I mean, yes, it was for
Mhm.
United when he said that, but that is an iconic quote. And he's
Right.
like, respect, respect. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, man. The guy, I love the guy. I love Jose Mourinho. Um, but
Y-
I think I just have a running theory that I think it had more to do
The Super League.
with the Super League being formed and him being like, I'm not going out there and fucking answering questions about the Super League. You do it. And they're
So
probably like, you're fired.
two things on that. There's another one he has. It's a video I saw. Like he was talking about his book, I think, and it
Mm,
just starts off. He closes the book. I am Jose Mourinho. I love that. I love that one quote so
I am
much. It's
Jose
it's
Mourinho.
iconic.
Yeah.
The
He was
next
also in a
thing.
rap video too recently
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I
called
saw that. It's funny. That's how I got into UK music because I heard someone talking about that. I'm like, really? Let me see what's going on, and it was fire. I
For
loved
me,
it.
it was AJ Tracy because he's a fan of Tottenham, and I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, AJ Tracy, who's this guy?" And I listened to some of his stuff, and I really liked it.
So
That
apparently, the guy who did the video with Jose in it, he was in a battle with another artist who was Jamaican. So I was like, Jamaican and rap. I want to hear that. I want to see what's going on. And I was not disappointed. I can't lie. I was not
may I
disappointed.
say, I've always been a fan of Jamaica. Personally, I've admired from afar. When I was in college, I used to save up. I worked in a restaurant, and I would save. I told myself $1 a day, and in 2 years, I can go to Jamaica and chill out on a beach. Was like my goal, and so I did that for like a year and a half. I was super into. I wanted to like. I literally was like, I don't want to live in America anymore. I'd rather live somewhere else. And I was like, where sounds like a nice beach? I can just go chill in a hammock on the beach, maybe like have like, some vegetables growing, something like just real
Yeah, some
simple,
fruits.
real easy, right? Like not all this fluff and the rat race in America, right? And America's this capitalistic society that's just hustle culture. I don't like that.
Mm.
And there's more to life than making money, in my opinion. Like enjoying yourself, growing as a person, growing things with people, and
I,
relationships and impacts you can have with people in their personal life. Those things interest me more than the fucking, oh, how much money
mm.
did I make today? What are my passive incomes generating? Like,
I hear you, but trust me, from the inside, I left Jamaica to come here for a reason, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah, and
And
that's the thing
you
is the
might
more I
think,
spoke with people from Jamaica, they all
yeah,
said the same thing. And people always they also said it's not like what it'd be like if you say you went to a resort in Jamaica as a tourist. If
right,
you
exactly.
live
If
there, it's
you're
a completely
moving to
different
Jamaica
beat.
to live, my advice to you is make sure you are rich before you do that. Because
Yeah.
the inflation you see here is nothing compared to the inflation you
Cause yeah,
see
you gotta
back
get
there.
you gotta get it all shipped in, right? So there's an added fee on even
I
like simple
I
things,
think
right?
I think the price for stuff back there is sometimes level with what you're paying here, but the pay you get there is nowhere
Mm,
close to what you get here.
yeah,
So
that makes
here
sense.
it's like, I'm hustling so hard just to get by. There it's like I'm hustling so hard I can't even get by. So
Are you in New York though?
I've lived in New York. Right now I'm in Virginia.
Okay, that makes a little more. I'm like, bro, you will run in place forever in New York with those rent prices, man. New York got those crazy. I have a few friends that live out there in like Brooklyn and New York and stuff, and the videos I've seen of when they're apartment hunting, it's like a whole thing. But I did want to say I obviously like I know Bob Marley. I've researched Bob Marley. I've always listened to his music even when I was a kid. But I want to say what made me want to go was watching Damian Marley, one of his sons.
Hmm.
I loved his music growing up. Like when I was in college, I loved his music and his music videos. He made Jamaica look so he made it look like this paradise. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was like, man,
yeah,
I gotta go there.
it's easy to do
Snoop
that.
Dogg Snoop Dogg went to Jamaica and he did a little documentary of Snoop Dogg becoming Snoop Lion. And he made
Mm.
me, oh, gotta go to Jamaica. Snoop just went like, come on. And
Hey,
honestly, I at least gotta go. I gotta go at least
I
once.
was
Maybe
gonna
not.
say if you're still down to do it in a couple of years, I can hit up wifey and we can all just make it a group trip.
There we go.
We
Yeah,
can
see,
have,
that's why I wanna know someone so I can like go and have like the best food. Like, where's you know what I
yeah,
mean?
the
Because I
best
know like in
spots.
America, there's like the fancy shiny place, right, or the one that they push out a lot. But
Yeah.
around the corner, there's probably Consuela who's making that burrito
Mm-hmm.
mojado that
Yeah,
you
I
just want to,
definitely hear
you
you.
know.
And
So
you
that's
don't
what I'm
get
saying. That's what I
if
love.
you're hanging with a local, you don't get that tourist tax. That's also big.
Yeah, that's true too. That's what. Hey, this is a good. Long may this rain. I'm gonna have to have you on United Spurs of America sometime. Do a
Yeah, no, and I have a lot of other stuff I want to get you back here for too. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, we can definitely make something
I
happen.
got two channels now. So I have United Spurs of America, which is all just Spurs stuff, and then
Mhm.
I started a second channel, which is what I have the
That
title
okay.
there at
I had a
Jacob
feeling.
TV. It's the second channel. I just recently started it. I have a little bit of Spurs content, gaming content, but I'm also planning on doing like lifestyle, culture, movie,
Mm,
music reviews, and food and culture and stuff. So I think not the more people I know from different places, I like to make those connections, and I want to learn more about cultures that I just haven't had the opportunity to learn about. So hopefully you can join me for that sometime whenever I get those going.
no, 100%. And I'm about to go drop you a sub on that new channel right now. But just to get it back to yeah, Jacob TV. Is it this one here?
It's like a blue logo, like a light blue,
Okay, yeah, yeah, it's this one.
not sky blue. Don't
So
get it twisted.
you have 86 subs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. You got 87 now. um,
Hey, big up. Thank you, man.
back to Harry Kane real quick because I know you do have to go. You did say you have another show coming up,
Yeah,
but
I got about 4 minutes.
okay. Well, let me just leave it to this last question then. Um, well, I mean, I can get. I guess I can make this a two in one. So there are a couple of questions about his mentality and his ambition. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think that'll show at his next club? I know people talk about that penalty he missed for England and saying, oh, he can't step up in big pressure moments. And, they'll go back to those cup exits that you had and we referred to beforehand. And some people even say, like, just staying at Spurs in general, like, you haven't been winning anything. Why would you then sign another deal? But I know that for him, it would mean a lot more winning one trophy with Spurs than going to Bayern, who win trophies every year and do a double there. But what's your take on that?
My take is a lot of people have been assuming Harry Kane's beliefs and what Harry Kane feels. And I think it's funny to me when Spurs fans are saying, oh, like I brought up the excuse, right? Well, he wouldn't want to leave his family, right? He doesn't want to take his family, completely uproot his wife and three kids and fourth on the way. He's building a house in London. To me, money solves all that. All them problems
Mm,
they talk about. I build a house and they can live in that, and then they can come live in the house that I'm living in Spain, in Germany, because he's going to be making that much money. He's going to have some swanky place, and his family could be put up nicely. The clubs aren't just like he's not the first player with a family who played the sport and might move abroad. So to me, money again, if it's you or I, it might be a little bit more difficult for me to pack up
yeah,
and move to Germany. But if I'm making 400,000 a week, it might be a little bit easier to do that.
right. And just to add to that, really quickly, because you mentioned that he's building a new house in North London right now. I don't think that would necessarily stop him from leaving for Germany because
Why not?
he's
He wants
grown
he
up. He's grown up in North London, though. If he goes to Germany for say 3 years and
Well,
then comes
technically, he's
back,
closer to Chelsea. The house he's building is closer to Chelsea, so that's what's leading
okay,
everyone to say, "Oh, he's going to go to Chelsea. He's going to go to Chelsea. He's
right,
built
okay, okay.
Pochettino. He's building a
But I
house
mean, I
close."
think it'd be very similar to. I mean, if I'm a professional footballer, my family would then expect that I'm gonna have offers to go probably anywhere in the world if I'm that good. So
As a
if I'm
wife,
building a
would your
house back
wife
in
tell you not
Jamaica,
to go to the biggest club in the world? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
y'all may be building a house, but a job, the biggest Apple hits you up and says, I need you for all this, and I'm gonna give you absorbent amounts of money. Would your
And it's
wife
for a
be
set
like,
amount of time that you know beforehand. You're gonna get a contract that's X amount of years,
it's
and it's not
guaranteed?
gonna be a 10-year contract or something like
Yeah,
that. So
it's like
I
a.
don't think it's
If
that
he goes to
crazy.
Real, he goes to Bayern. I see it as a 2 or 3 year deal, and then
Yeah.
he can come back to the Premier League, whether it be with Tottenham, whether it be with Chelsea, who knows whether it be, and then just break the record. There's a lot of people that Spurs fans specifically that'll tell you Harry Kane wants to be a one man club and he wants to win with Spurs. Well, he's had the chance to win with Spurs, and he's every time been unsuccessful. At some point, you have to stop sucking on your mama's titty. You got to cut the umbilical cord.
Mm,
It's just a part of growing up. And as a fan, as a club, and as him as a player, to me, I'm not going to say he has no ambition if he stays, because I think that's a very bold statement and a
mm,
presumptuous one that a lot of fans want to make about Harry Kane. Loyalty you can't put a price tag on,
right.
and I value that. But the thing is, he hasn't been like the most vocally loyal. If I look at other sports, I don't know if you follow NBA, but I'm a huge Dallas Mavericks and Chicago Bulls fan in the NBA. Dirk Nowitzki was a one team man, and every time there was rumors about him going to LA to play with Kobe or going to Miami to link up with them, every time he came out and said, "No,
Mm,
Dallas is my team. This is my city. This is what." Kane doesn't do that. He's not the vocal leader. He's not this and that. So like to me, it's not the end of the world. It will be fine. We'll be
yeah,
fine.
and
And
just to
he's not ambitionless
mm,
if he does want to stay. He's not. That I think both of those things can be true. Like he can want to
mm,
leave, but also stay and have ambition and just. I mean, he wanted to go to City, and how many trophies would he have if he would have gone? As much as Jack Grealish.
right,
So
yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
and to me, the Bundesliga, I'm not trying to shit on the league or anything. It is a little bit of a step down as far as competition, but
Mm,
across a lot of football chatter is always, well, how many trophies did he win? How many? If he hears that and he feels that and believes what people are saying, then it would be likely that he goes to Bayern and he goes and gets a couple Mickey Mouse trophies, comes back to England, breaks the record, and he can always say, you know what? Yeah, I may not have won any trophies in England, but I still have trophies, right?
right, yeah.
I don't know. I think
And
it's a
just the last thing I want to say to that, well, first thing is with Bernardo Silva, it's the same thing where he's wanted to leave for like 3 years now because he doesn't like the weather in England, particularly Manchester. But he's not gonna leave and go to another Premier League club out of respect for us, because he loves the
yeah.
fans, he loves the club. It's just the weather that him and his family has an issue with. He doesn't like he gets linked away with Barcelona, with PSG, with Benfica, multiple other clubs, and he never comes out and says no, I want to stay. It's always just up in the air, and that what that says to me is he doesn't do that on purpose because he doesn't want to lie to us and say I'm gonna stay and then leave. He'd rather say nothing and then leave and say, you know what, well, I didn't lie to you guys. But
Hmm.
even even with Harry Kane, I think I would liken that situation to Manchester City and the Champions League, because we've achieved so many, especially under Pep over the years. We've done back to back twice, and then multiple League Cups, FA Cups in there, and we went to the latter rounds of the Champions League, but no one or a majority of rival fans don't want to put respect on it because we didn't have the Champions League as yet. But then as soon as we get the Champions League, then they then look back and what else we've done, including the Champions League, and they're like, wow, this has been an amazing stint for Pep. I think it's gonna be the same for Kane. People want to talk shit now and only rate him for his ability, but not what he's achieved with Spurs numbers wise. But the moment he gets one trophy in, which is the thing that they've been beating him with all along, then they're gonna look back at it in totality and say, "Wow, this guy was absolutely amazing." But
I
it's
think
just one of those.
yeah, I think when he retires, that will be the conversation. Is wow, he was amazing and he wasn't appreciated while we were watching
Yeah,
him, um, and the fact that he's accomplished so much, like individually, with Spurs, that I think that speaks to his talent. I definitely do think that speaks to his talent. I do have to go.
yeah.
I apologize. Are you going to keep going or
Nope, I'm gonna wrap up too. So I
cool?
really do
I'll let you
appreciate
wrap
you
up
coming
before I jump
through.
off.
Thank you so much. And yeah, you can go ahead and plug your current show as well. I'm probably gonna stop by real quick and be in the comment section.
Yeah.
And anything else you might have coming up soon.
We'll be live in 10 minutes over on United Spurs of America. Myself and Sean Butler from Spurs Talk Show. We're going to chat for about an hour about We're gonna chat for about an hour. He just texted me said my thumbnails need work. I guess I make bad thumbnails. So I'm gonna we'll be live in about 10 minutes talking about Ainge's first day, players returning, and just general Spurs chat. So yeah, come check it out if you got the time. Hit that sub on the road to 1.5K. Clinical. I'm gonna have to have you on, man. I really enjoyed our chat, and it sucks that I actually have like another show coming up, but I wish we could chat longer. Hopefully, we can
Mm.
do this again soon.
Yep, hopefully. And I do appreciate you coming by, like I said. Thanks for everybody who is in the chat or was in the chat, watching silently as well. I do appreciate all you guys' support. Please do show some love to the video by liking it and show some love to the channel as well and by subscribing to it. I'm at 63 right now. I'm really trying to get to 100 by the end of this year. And personally, I'd also much appreciate if you guys go ahead and show Jake some support over by United Spurs of America on his channel because they're doing some
Appreciate
good
that.
stuff over there. So, yeah, thanks for everybody who did contribute today, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Till next time.